Hello. Today is a good day. Even it's second day of the conference. In this hall, we have a lot of interesting sessions, and I'm also interested in these sessions and visited session that made Pavel Cesar and Thomas about log manager, trace manager, and I will speak about optimizing the databases and applications, how it can be done, and really this is a kind of methodology we are using for our clients to optimize, to help optimize the databases and applications. And we decided to make it public because, at least we can't cover all the developers and all the companies that want to increase performance. So at first I need to say that the big word in the name of this session really doesn't mean the big in the meaning of the size of the database, of the amount of concurrent users and so on. It can be 10 users, 1 gigabyte database, 5 users, 100 gigabyte database, and so on. So so any system like this can have a slow performance, or it will have slow performance when it will grow. As a developers, you know how development is being done. The first time you have an idea of or some task to make some software, you create the database, create an application, and then give it to the customer. And customer tries to use it. For the first time, everything can work okay, but when customer will grow, the number of users will grow, and so on. For example, the profit net mentioned by Alexey Kovezin in his yesterday's session 2 years ago had 300 concurrent users, and this year they have 400 concurrent users. And also the database grow up. It was about 50 gigabyte size. Now it's about 100 gigabyte size, and so on. So as a big, any system that have performance problems can be considered. Here you see the steps of performance tuning. First of all, I need to say a few words about hardware. I will not speak too much about it because, as I said, we have a good day, and especially in this room, because after my presentation, there will be 2 sessions of Paul Reeves. He will speak about RAID configuration, hardware, and so on, and I would like to hear this session too. So I will keep silence about this topic, but I need to say that the most problem with the customers, especially it's not a kind of problem for ISVs, but the customer usually asks you to suggest some hardware, and if the system is new, you don't know what hardware will be needed for that task. Firebird itself is good in the meaning that you may take just a desktop computer and try software running on it. Because, for example, we made in 2009 tests of 1 terabyte database on my desktop computer. And during the test, in the day, I was working on that computer. And this test, the goal of this test was to show that simple computer, but properly configured, can handle a huge database, what speed of data insertion can be, and so on. So you can make some kind of comparison of the system you have, and if you see that your cool hardware works slower than my desktop, so you know that you need to tune something. This presentation is made from an article that is still being written about all of these topics, and there will be information about hardware, how to understand how many cores, for example, you need for 100 users and so on. This article will be written in Russian first, and then it will be translated and placed, of course, on our site, on ib8.com website. So, as I said, I'm skipping the hardware question. Anyway, if you have to ask something, you can ask me later. And we go to the transactions session. Transactions picture is the first one that you can view to understand what is happening in the system, because really how many transactions are being started in a minute on the system, at which time, and so on. So you may understand about things about transaction control, and moreover about concurrency of your application, and is there some application behavior that you need to correct. By the way, simply using tools doesn't help much without explanation of what's going on. For example, we have a tool named IB Analyst. Really, this tool I wrote about maybe 7 years ago or more, because nobody wanted to write a tool like that. So I waited for about 5 years, then I decided to create it by myself, and then you can see the screen with the yellow, red, and blue different cells. One of our customers opened his statistics and said, okay, this is a cool picture, but I don't know what does it mean at all. So I don't understand what to do with this. And let's look for the first point that we do. We usually use IBTM. It's transaction monitor. It does simple thing, connects to the database each minute and takes the transaction state and stores in the text file. Then you can analyze with the viewer how many transactions are being started at particular time. For example, I can turn to the real users. For example, here you see that the most transactions per minute is happens at some kind of 9 o'clock, and the work starts from 7, maybe 7:30. From the morning, the activity grows. Then some drops at the lunchtime a little, and then the activity. Remember that this is an activity of users usually. So by these graphs, you can understand when users stop to work, when they stop working, and when they go home. Because in one company, it was an interesting situation that they found that the end of the day is at 6 p.m. But almost all connections or transactions were closed at 5:30. So nobody was working for the last half an hour. So it's a kind of dangerous tool for some people in the company who are a bit lazy. And also you can understand, for example, this day there were about 500,000 transactions. It's okay, and the most intensive count of transactions were 2,000 per 1 minute. Looking at these graphs, you may understand, where, for example, if you try to get rid of garbage, I will talk about it later, when the best time to start sweep, for example, G6 sweep. And of course, you can understand when not to start it, or if you will start it, it will not give any good result. The another good thing of this graph is to understand that system have some unusual behavior. For example, when we took this picture, we install this tool at the customer server and then wait for about 3-4 days to get the statistics. And then we look at it and explain to the customer. So right here, the picture, you see that there is a strange peak of transaction activity, 14,000 transactions at 4 a.m. And we asked the customer, what's that? And he said, I don't know. So really, you can see the behavior of the system that you don't know. Usually, yes, of course, later some guy understood that this is some kind of robot application exporting scripts, but as you see, it produces a lot of transactions, and then it left active transaction, and this can cause, of course, more garbage to be kept in the database. And this active transaction was active until the beginning of the other connections. So they needed, by viewing this picture, they needed to fix the application that inserted a lot of data. And also you see the peak of another peak in 1 p.m. Also happens the same export or importing of data. Another interesting thing is to view how many active, really active transactions at the same time. You see that the maybe you don't see it because the numbers of font is too small, but the lower level is 4 active transactions. So the whole 24 hours there are active transactions that never end. So this is also strange because they do not work 24 hours. The usual, as you saw on the previous graph, the working time may be from 7:30 to 6 p.m. So they needed to check, are there any applications that connects to the database and do some things that you don't know. For legacy systems, this is usual. There are some old software left, and maybe for a few years nobody in the company knows what this application is doing, but it's still connecting to the database, reading some data, modifying some data, and so on. But it's not a big problem. So we found that transactions in the system have some kind of activity, and then we need to understand, does this activity produces, by the way, yeah, a bit later, does this activity of transactions produces a lot of garbage in the database, because there is no strict relation with the garbage amount and transactions. You can't say that 1,000 transactions produces 1,000 record versions. No, 1,000 transactions can produce 0 versions. Or vice versa. 1 transaction can produce a million of versions. So the database must be looked through statistics to understand other versions at some point of time in the database. For example, we working with a production system, so with a lot of production systems, found that it's better to turn sweep interval off. Vlad have an opposite opinion, and he's not here, unfortunately. He says that sweep interval must not be set to 0. But my opinion is based on experience that companies that don't turn sweep interval to 0 usually have periodical slowdown of the system. So if you see that symptoms, for example, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Thursday is Wednesday, Thursday, and Thursday something is being slowed down. What happened? By the IBTM, you can see that sweep happened. So it can happen at any time because sweep is an automatic how to say, tool or process, and it depends how transaction interfere between each other. So the sweep can start once a day, once in a week, and you have no idea when it will start, really. So I suggest to set it to 0, and then to manage it running manually. Maybe in the evening, maybe in the morning, it depends, but really we maybe need to set the interval to 0. And really there are a lot of maybe articles or speaking about the garbage in the database, but really you know that garbage is the versions that is not being needed by any transaction. So until there are any transactions that still need these versions, it's not a garbage. But almost all speaking about this version as a garbage. But this is really technical details, and we can use IB Analyst tool to view these situations. At first, I need to say that it has a bit different picture about transaction state, because when you take statistics, and you can use gstat minus a minus r, you will have a huge text file, which is better to analyze with some tool. You can't understand the meaning of the numbers in the text file, so it's better to view it graphically. And here you see current state of transactions that was at the moment that statistics was taken. We suggest to take statistics at least 3 times per day. For example, in the morning, in the middle of the day, and near the end of the day. But this is completely useless to take statistics after restore. Everything will be perfect in the day, in this statistics, and after running sweep. So you need to take statistics at the correct times. I can show you interesting thing that we found a few days ago. There was a guy who asked about strange behavior of his database. He used autonomous transactions in triggers. Really, it was even worse. Triggers had a call to procedures, and there were autonomous transactions inserting data to other 3 databases. And there were applications that inserted or modified data too often. And you can see that the database the statistics is taken for the database living 1 day, and there is already 66 million of transactions happened. So at first, when I saw the statistics, I was wondering, and this database size is 300 megabytes only. So at first I was wondering what can cause such a huge amount of running transactions, and moreover, if we will make some division or multiplication, you will see that 66 million transactions per day means the near 400 transactions each second. And if the system works with this intensity each day, it will work only for 2 months. After second month, after the end of the second month, the transactions will reach the 2 billion limit, and database will stop working. So the guy did a horrible thing. So there were some transactions that inserted data, and for each record he starts in the trigger a lot of autonomous transactions, so he multiplied transactions initially happened with his transaction, and he got this huge intensity. He now rethinking the design of applications. I don't know what he will do next, but he, how to say, there are some kind of perfectionism. I can call it perfectionism disease. Some developers have it, and it needs to be cured. Here we come to version. IB analyst can help by some. Well, let's turn to better picture. IB analyst can show you how many. My nose is down all the time. How many versions and what and helps you to understand what is causing the version, this version amount. For example, you see at the high row, it's IB log field. It have a 1 million, more than 1 million transactions, and also 1 million versions. And each record can only 1 version. So this means that this data was deleted, but not yet. Here is the garbage, and when will someone read this table? Someone, since this is an IB expert table, some developer that will modify, for example, procedure, he will force the garbage collection, and it will load the server. Sorry. The main task will be not to drop it on the notebook. Here also predefined warnings. The IB analyst mostly helpful because there are a lot of different formulas that based on the practical experience. For example, it alerts you that, for example, there are versions in the table 3 times higher than the records itself. It also can show the tables fragmented by blob fields, by small blob data. And also other interesting like this. Please raise your hands who supply your applications not only to one, or in this company, not only to one, to some clients. For example, 2, 3. So I know Cita software, of course, most of you. Then maybe you know that you develop the database, some kind of universal database that does particular tasks. And then you come to client and say, okay, this is the product. It can be extended in some ways, but you have the common structure that is useful for all your clients. But clients are different. For example, one client can, for example, sales. He can sell something to 1,000 customers and buy parts from 10 suppliers. And also vice versa. He may have 1,000 suppliers and sell and combine together some things and sell to 10 customers. And this way, you can see that some indices in the database have only one value. It usually foreign keys. But in this database, you see that by the name of the indices, that these indices are manually created. They were manually created at the development stage. But at the current client, they have only one value. So these indices are completely useless. And these indices are not only completely useless, the optimizer can use them, so the memory will be wasted for by the query optimizer. And also, these indices will be created during the restore process. So the time will be wasted by creating these indices. And remember that Firebird uses quicksort algorithm for the creating indices, and quicksort, I think, it doesn't work good when only one value to be sorted. So when we see this picture, we usually tell people to drop these indices as soon as possible, but not all of them do this. But really, it really helps. Of course, for one customer can be one indices containing only one unique value, and for other customers, other indices can have this. So for the this must be tuned for the customer exactly with the production database. So we saw the transactions in the system. We saw where versions can be, but who produced these versions and when? It's a bit hard to say because you need to know the logic of the business logic of your application. And even if you know this, sometimes application can work not as designed, or users can use it not as you designed the application. So here you see the specific way to understand where versions was created. You can take maybe, I don't know, ad hoc UDF, have an ability to write some information to text files, or you can just simply create this UDF by yourself or take from rfunc, maybe. But the idea is that UDF writes some information, and maybe it's a record ID, time when it happened, what the operation it was, insert, delete, update, and so on. And then you can just look at the size of these files and understand which trigger created, which trigger fired more than others. So you can easily see which tables were modified and so on. And by the comparing these files to each other, you can, how to say, to take your business logic and understand, do this works as you designed it or not. And of course, you can understand this by using Trace API, but unfortunately, we do not have such an experience for the huge amount of queries that I will show you next. So we need to try. But I suggest you to also use Firebird Trace Manager. Definitely, it's a good tool. So here comes to queries, because we also need to understand why at some point of time this query works slower and slower and slower. Maybe some applications that being written for years have obsolete queries, or the business logic became screwed, or anything. We have an FB scanner tool that was shown a bit yesterday. I can switch to the current state. For example, now it just monitors my connection. It monitors it online. I need to say that that FB scanner was created before the monitoring tables and even before the Trace API, so it works even with the interface 4.0. So it works with any interface on Firebird server. So it still can be used because, for example, not all of our clients work with Firebird 2.5, and we will not convince our clients to go to the Firebird 2.5 because from one reason, some of our clients do not want to do this, because if the application works, let it work. So don't change anything. And a lot of applications work with still works with the Firebird 1.5. So you know that. Currently, as I said, this can be, you can get nearly the same result with the monitoring tables, so it's simple, and with the Trace API. But the better usage of FB scanner is its monitoring ability, not just monitoring, but saving to log file. And in this case, you can do the following. All users can work with the Firebird server directly. It's not a problem. It's okay. And we do not recommend to use FB scanner to monitor all the connections. Really, when you get in the log everything about every application, it will be very hard to understand which application did what at a particular time. So we suggest to take 1 or 2 or 3 applications, or just operator places, and to point these applications instead of Firebird server to FB scanner, and to turn log on. It can be saved even to text file, but we prefer to save it to the Firebird 2.5 database, and we use embedded Firebird. So FB scanner, even being installed on the server, can also save the data in the most new format. FB scanner gathers this information, and then you're able to understand what happened during the day. And here you can find that your application works wrong, or user works with your application not the way you designed it. We, for example, at one client we found that users prefer to start 3 instances of the same application and to use each of them for different tasks. It's usual, but developers hasn't knew nothing about it. So we found it only when we saw that one user's place produced 3 connections, and we also saw which commands were in each connection, so we understood what the user was doing. But this was new for the developers. For other clients, we discovered that users used specific functionality that they hadn't designed initially, and this was resulting to a lot of versions, and applications will slow down to the end of the day. I don't have the picture right now, but really it was looking like the same query that runs from time to time. Each second time ran twice slower, so it took twice more time, and to the end of the day it couldn't be considered as normal work because it was some kind of sales. So when someone came to the place, when he pays for the things, he was waiting for about 5 or 6 minutes. It was inappropriate. So, by the way, here's the picture of one day, 84 computers, and up to 1,000 transactions per minute, and also up to 3,000 statements per minute. The next picture is also interesting. So when we analyzed the application, we found that it produces from time to time up to 85 transactions per minute. So you may be curious why it's doing this. It's just a user's application, not as some kind of robot. And up to 4,000 SQL queries per minute. It's also interesting. What are the queries? And we found that right now about for transactions. You can see this at the upper is a connection, and here we see the SQL statements and transactions grouped by the sequence they were sent to the server. And you see that there are a lot of transaction starts, and SQL statement is being run in each transaction, then again transaction start, and then again SQL statement, and then again. Another one transaction, and you see select from where ID 1, 2nd, 3rd, and so on, so on, so on. It's endless, really. So here is the intensity, and you need to decide who wrote this. I'm sure 2 different people were writing different parts of this. This part and this part. So here someone used some kind of automatic transaction commit, and the guy who wrote this part ran transaction explicitly, and then, but anyway, he then used also some automatic thing that generates SQL statement and produce a lot of things. also, you can see which SQL statement was the slowest one, and when it was, and also you can go to the view where what SQL statements and what surrounded these statements. So it's also not a problem. And as the summary, you can see how many work did this particular client. Was he smart enough? Maybe stupid? Maybe he was lazy. You can compare different workstations and different users. So maybe you can pay salary depending on transactions amount or SQL statements count produced by one user, maybe. So I was speaking about this. And finally, what to do with all this? First of all, of course, you need to, if you can, we deal with a different kind of databases and applications. Some of them are written by third-party companies that have gone away for a long time, and the customer can only increase the hardware and can do nothing at all. Some companies try, if you have developers, if developers work in this company, they try to rewrite legacy applications, and I think it's the best way because the company needs to move forward, and if sooner or later the legacy application will pull it back, will not give an ability to develop and so on. So usually you need to get rid of these applications. And fixing duration of transaction and remove unnecessary write transaction is the must, of course. Then the garbage collection will also have a joke that in some systems where if the system, if the company have developers, sometimes or from time to time developers sleeps in a development tool. So they start development tool, open some query, then maybe going for lunch and so on, but the tool keeps transaction open and then holds the garbage collection. So after the lunch, for example, developer closes this application and oops, everything started to work slower. So this happens also, but mostly the garbage is being accumulated by the wrong transaction management. If you have closed source and legacy applications, you can get rid of garbage only with the special maintenance schedule. I will not speak about it. It's a big secret. If you want to know about it, you can ask me after this session. And for the queries, maybe you can fix plans, as I said, but the first at the step before, maybe you deleted some useless indices, and some queries need to be fixed to the plan or even changed. And also, we found that not much of developers use storage aggregates. Sometimes developers come to us with a question. I made a report, and when I put the application and database to production, the report started to work for an hour. My opinion that no report must run more than maybe 5, maybe 10 minutes, and 10 minutes is a huge amount of time for the report. So the storage aggregates must be used in current situation. Well, of course, you can use some another tool. You may use monitoring tables and so on. But this model that I described you, it works really, and we happened a lot of our clients with this methodology. So, if you have any questions about it, I'd like to answer. Well, something about garbage, transactions, and so on. Yep. Not to, for example, the store, the order. You have a summary. If you do not store it somewhere, you need to multiply the order each time to understand how much it costs. If you do this only for today, it's okay. If you do this for the monthly orders, it's a bad idea. So since you do not need to look inside the order for the month picture, it's better to save somewhere to create an additional table and save the summary for each order, maybe some for orders that happened for particular day and so on. Yes, it's some kind of mix or so. Any other questions? We have a lot of time, I think. Alexei, do you want to say something? I understand that this maybe this story is not kind of interesting like a movie and a bit boring, but it works really. And I also just a second. I also must note that we write our tools for ourselves to make some tasks. And only then, when these tools are ready and work for our team, we start to sell it. So these tools are used by us, but by a lot of people, and it works. Okay. Change of what? Which software and which version? There were different. We have a scanner 3.0. The new software is FBlog scanner. It was not exist maybe a year ago. Then I think there are a lot of IB Analyst 2.7 and 3.0 will come soon. So the whole package is not upgraded in a one click. The different tools are being upgraded from some points. For example, as I said about the scanner, it's you need to send. Do you have a scanner? Yes. Maybe 2.5 or 2. Because in the control panel, scanner 3 is placed separately. So if you do not see it, maybe you need to ask us about upgrade or something. Really, we have experienced that about this customer who puts all the connections. And how it slow down. But anyway, we observe the performance decrease about 15, not more than 15%, and this is really close to the performance slowdown by Trace API. As you see, Vlad yesterday told me that viewing the user trace, it slows down by 5%, and it slows down server itself. If you are speaking about FB scanner, it slows down just a bit of traffic. It's not such a sufficient, it not slow down server itself. So it doesn't makes any impact on the server. So as I said, also FB scanner can be used to investigate some tools, and we did that once, not once, several times, to understand what the tool is doing when you don't have resources. This is perfect for the legacy applications. You can, maybe if the application is not too complex, you can completely rewrite it. Since you understand what is happening inside the applications, you can take the queries out of it, and you know how it behaves, and you can completely write your own tool. It's written in .NET, and that's because it must be run only on Windows. And we use, or we suggest to use just simple computer with Windows, maybe Windows 7, just a desktop, and put some connections through this computer. So instead of server name, you just place the name of the computer in application, name of the computer with the FB scanner. So that's it. And the FB scanner translates the queries to the server and back to the client. So it's a simple proxy. Not kind of simple, but a proxy. Yes, because it, for example, have a feature that intercepts plans, query plans. So it's special because it doesn't have anything for the server, but it can get plans that hasn't requested by application. So that you can see these plans, and Alexei showed you yesterday the story about moving from Firebird 1.5 and to 2.5. So thank you. I think you might spend 7 minutes by drinking some coffee, maybe.